Hey guys, welcome to Real Brothers Week 13, back in the lab here. And we're coming to you on a special day. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Everybody's hopefully getting their bellies full up, watching some football, having a good time today.
Yeah, sure everybody's kind of probably about nap 30 for most people here coming up anytime soon. Still about what, fourth quarter here of game number one as we
Yep.
sit here and record right now. So this will probably be slowly brought to you throughout the course of the day. I'm not sure when you guys will be able to watch it, but we'll kind of bring you up to speed with how things are progressing and obviously, a lot of big games in the NFL this weekend, so we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. Especially today. This is one thing I was talking about in our group chat this morning was I can't remember a Thanksgiving day with this many heavy hitters in the fantasy realm.
Yeah, it seems like we were talking about both your game and my game. You had five guys
Five,
playing. I
yeah.
think Dan has five playing today. Several big names just across the board today.
Yeah, so and that's kind of fun when you think about it. I can remember a lot of Thanksgiving games that were just blowouts and just non-meaningful football. So not only is it meaningful for us, obviously with 2 weeks to go in our season, but these are meaningful games for these guys as well.
Yeah, the cool thing too is we're getting the Black Friday game later
Yeah.
on, then our normal Sunday and Monday night game. So it's going to be a long fantasy weekend of a lot going on.
Yeah, this is kind of just pretty cool. So this is, I think, in my mind, this is whenever you think about Thursday football, this is what Thursday football is. It's
Yeah.
not the one random Thursday night game every week.
Two teams that suck.
Yeah, I can't stand. But so anyway, yeah, guys, a little bit of a different show. Obviously, with so many games happening at the front end of this week, we're probably not going to spend a whole lot of time doing a preview segment this week.
No, yeah, especially with how many guys are playing right now, where we're trying to get the recordings in there. We're going to try to do a little bit of living throughout the day today too. So a lot more focus on those divisions, those division races, those wild card races. Plus, as we're watching these games unfold today, it's going to change kind of some of the things we say, so it gives us a little bit more insight.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point too. Is like I didn't want to. This is such an important week for several teams. I mean, we got elimination facing probably two or three teams for sure, myself included.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys with a lot going on today. We could end up with one or two divisions being set. We could end up with another two or three guys being eliminated.
Yeah.
Still a lot to figure out.
Yeah, and knowing that most people aren't going to be able to watch this till Saturday, I didn't really want to. I didn't feel like it's a real good idea to sit here and do a bunch of prediction show, and then by the time they get to see it, half of the predictions are already false.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, so stick around, guys. We'll be right back. Got some cool things we're going to incorporate this week. And obviously, it might not be the long, lengthy show that where we're diving in as much as we've done in the past, but obviously we keep it moving, keep it different each and every week. But stick around, guys. We'll be right back. We'll jump into something different for you.
Starring actual real brothers Jason Spivey and his little brother Brandon.
All right, we are back. Going to kind of kick off this first segment with a couple little trivia kind of things.
The stats at you.
Yeah. So I got one trivia I've been kind of dying to get out here for you. I stumbled across it this morning, so I don't know if it's going to land as good as I hope it does. But so we've established, our league is 12 deep.
Yes.
So we have two running backs and two receivers in our starting positions. Therefore, the top 24 dictate a one or a two, right?
Yeah, if you're calling running back one, he should be in the top 12. Running back two should be
Top
between
24.
13 to 24.
Correct. Okay. So with that being said, top 24, we're thinking running backs right now. We currently have one and only one NFL team with two running backs inside of that top 24, making those two startable running backs each week. Only one NFL team.
One NFL team that has two guys in
in
the
the top 24.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Interesting choice. I figured for sure you were going to go with the Lions.
Well, I don't think Monty's up first.
Well, just for the sake of that conversation, Monty's 25.
Okay.
So that's why I specified top 24. I was hoping to catch a slip in there. So good job avoiding that. It is not the Cardinals.
I'm sure it's guys. I mean, obviously somebody's got a nice injury in there, which when you start thinking about those teams, Two
Let me
running
just
backs.
tell you, get off of that mindset quickly.
Really? It's not Houston. They got 2 running backs going.
No, unfortunately.
They just
they're
ain't doing enough.
Yeah,
One
I
of
mean,
them
one of them's got in there, but yeah, Chubb's just not. Chubb's like 30, mid-30s.
How about the Bears?
No, I can just. Well, I'll save you the trouble here. The Pittsburgh Steelers
With
and Kenneth fucking Gainwell. The only two twat.
That would have been a good one for me to give you.
Oh, I mean, you gotta be kidding me with this guy.
Yes, I didn't think about that because he's had a 30-pointer here recently.
Yeah, and it's and you know when you get down to that, I mean, these guys are barely over 100 points, so a 30-point game can really influence where he's at in those rankings. So I just thought that was too sweet to pass.
Well, even at that, for the fact that Gainwell will be ahead of Lonnie.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
I mean, it does kind of. I mean, I wrote him. I talked shit about him all year, but I mean, we can't deny that he's earned the right to be on the starting field as far as the fantasy lineup.
I do have a crazy stat for you. I've actually already shared it with you before, but just a crazy stat in general, talking about this year in fantasy football. There's one guy leading the leagues in carries and receptions.
Yeah, so I'll let you be the the one to share the news here, but I actually had to dump this one on Drew because I just can't believe it.
This is, I mean, we're this far along in the season. One guy's leading in carries and receptions. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, they just keep. We watched the game the other day. It's just nothing but hand it to it, throw it to it, hand it through it, throw it to him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, come on, give the guy a break.
Yeah, he's I said it in joking, like his life after football is not going to be very pleasant.
No.
You talk about CTE or whatever for the rest of his life. I mean, dude's just getting
And you remember how much people locally were just on overuse of JT? Well, jeez. Yeah, just think of McCaffrey out there. He's just getting beat up constantly.
It's really crazy, but I want to give him his props as well because that doesn't come without the riches that go along with it. He has reclaimed the top spot in the fantasy overall scoring as well.
And for a guy who hasn't made it all the way through several NFL seasons.
And he's done it with a couple dud games. And he's got like a 20-point difference on number 2, so almost a full game's worth.
Yeah, now I know
scoring.
he hasn't had his bye week yet on most
True.
of the bye
Yeah,
weeks.
that's true. Yeah.
So that number 1 overall is kind of skewed a little bit with the extra game played, but
Yeah.
still interesting how many times he's touching the ball a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
All right. So that was a good one. I got one last one for you. You
Yeah.
kind of dump this segment for the day, but I think you might get this one, but I'm still going to try it anyway. Okay. So we have 2 NFL teams that currently have a winning record, but a minus in points differential. I'm going to give you one of them because it's close enough. It doesn't, it's not really worth the stat of. But it's the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're 6-5, so you can kind of make sense of why they would be minus 20 points or something like
you're
that.
talking about
This is a team that's got a pretty decent record that is still on a minus in the plus minus points for the season. One team.
Bears might be pretty close to that, but they did have that big game against Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
That might take them to the positive side. Green Bay.
Even with that game against Dallas Cowboys, the Bears did not flip it around. They are
Really?
-3 at 8-3.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
that is crazy.
So anyway, I thought that was fun. Just wanted to do a little. We've kind of incorporated a little bit of fun and trivia into this, so we're gonna keep it rolling. Other than that, we'll be right back. All right, we are back. We're going to do a little bit of a new segment this week. So as we kind of wind down our football season, we try to incorporate some new other kind of ideas. And I have a new book. Well, not a new book. I've actually had this for 30 years. This is,
Who's had it?
or you've had it actually. Saved it from a fire even for me. So this is a relic, man. I collected this thing when I was about 11 to 13 years old.
Maybe even longer than that.
And it was sent random pages. I don't even know what mom signed up for to get this thing for me. It's one of those weird things you will never see anywhere, but it is just full of random sports statistic facts and different kind of just general information. So we are going to use that as just a way to have some sort of news segment And the way I'm doing that, I asked you guys for a number this past week in our group chat. That number corresponds with a page number in my book here. So where did that page leave us? It left us at, I think it was page 19. The reason is I deducted two. I won't explain who it was, but I felt like it was somebody that just wasn't really going to make a good kind of fill in for our first ever episode of this. But anyway, we are looking at Wade Boggs is where it landed on us. I'm going to show him a picture here real quick, but I want Jason where your stat is for Wade Boggs before I get to your stats.
I've got an interesting stat on Wade Boggs for you. He holds the all-time record for most beers drank in a domestic flight, with 107 beers on flight.
That is very impressive. I just pull this page out. You guys know him. This is Wade Boggs. He's a baseball player. All right. I'm going to give you a little bit of information. The reason I'm doing this is we're all sports fans here. We generally love the idea of sports. So I figure what better way to just kind of incorporate, maybe introduce you guys to some new sports athletes, figures, or events that have happened over the course of history. Obviously, by random fact here, we landed on Wade Boggs. Just to give you a little bit of insight on Wade Boggs. Dude played an 18-year career. So this was not just a flash in the pan kind of guy. And over that 18-year career, he was a 328 hitter. What do we know about 300 hitters?
300 hitters, go to the Hall of Fame.
Go to the Hall of Fame. So we always talk, in my coaching career, I always use it like, you are 1 out of every 3 attempts at something, you are a Hall of Famer. So that's kind of what we use as coaching. But 328 in his career, 18 years, dude, is insanely impressive.
Yes.
12 All-Star games in that time, but he wasn't just a hitter. He also has 2 Gold Gloves.
Yeah.
But one thing that really stuck out to me when I started kind of digging into the numbers on Wade Boggs is he was a 349 hitter as a rookie.
That's impressive as a rookie.
As a rookie. But it gets even better because he had 4 straight batting titles after his rookie season. And during that 4 straight run of batting titles, that batting average never dipped below 357.
And today, a guy coming in close to 350 is an accomplishment.
And he did it for 4 years consecutive and won 4 batting titles doing it. So again, I just wanted to bring in a little bit of sports info. Thought it was kind of a cool way to incorporate a little bit of useless information I have in a book I've collected forever. Pass it on to you guys. So you guys now know some more useless information.
Yeah, don't forget that beer thing. Look it up.
We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, we are back. We're going to kick it over to Jason here, and we'll kind of start talking about some league stuff. But beforehand, I just want to kind of do a rant real quick about NFL coaches, dude, and this stubborn mindset on these analytics of going for it on 4th down. Dude, I know if we go back into our videos, it was probably week 3 or 4 roughly, I had bitched about Shane Steichen and that being a big possibility for the Colts. Obviously, I feel like it's part of what cost them the game last week. I'm sitting here watching Dan Campbell do the same thing, and I think he might be the worst in the NFL about it. That he will go for it on 4th down all the time, leaving so many points on the board. You're down 10 points inside of 8 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. You're limited possessions at that point.
Yeah.
At the 20-yard line, 4th and 4, 4th and 3, 4th and 4, kick the field goal.
Field goal, take the points. You're down a score.
Anyway,
I could go for it. You don't get it.
yeah, it's just, and it's happening more and more. That I can't wait till guys get back to just taking the points that are available. Anyway,
I see those in between, middle of the game, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, you're around the 40-yard line in that no man's land.
yeah,
But when you're down there, when you can score.
yeah. I mean, take the points. Again, it's obviously every game is situational, but that one was a pretty simple. Should have been a let's just kick the field goal, get it to 1 possession here.
I'm sure all those old school coaches would be screaming, like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's kind of infuriating. I can't imagine to be, obviously, we deal with it as Colts fans, but I mean, a Lions fan right now, what are they going through? Anyway.
I mean, it's exciting when your team gets it,
Yeah.
but it don't always happen.
Anyway, all right, what do you got?
Cool. Let's jump into some division talk for a second. 2 weeks left. Nothing really decided on any of the divisions yet.
We do got some playoffs secured now.
We got some playoffs secured, but nothing division-wise is secured. So I figure we'll just start talking about each division first.
So real quick then, and I guess if it's okay, that would force you to start with your division.
Sure.
Because I want to start with a question. If you feel like that your game this week with Dan, Team Big Fish, is it for the division you feel like?
I feel like it is for the division. I don't foresee. I mean, there is a way he can beat me this week and lose next. I just don't foresee him losing next week.
Okay, so that being
But-
said, and that's kind of the way I go into it, thinking you guys are
It's
playing
pretty
for the
much
division
this is
this
gonna
week.
be,
Yeah. So I feel like every division's probably got a little something to look for this week, but I'll let
Yeah.
you kind of dive into where we're sitting right now.
So let's just start with my division there. Me and Big Fish, we're still tied up. Both of us have secured the playoffs, but just so much to be decided in the division. And how important it is for us, it's probably going to be that bye week versus a 4 seed.
Yeah, so, and real quick, I just want to stress what that actually means for every other fantasy owner. That means that one wild card is locked already because we
Yes.
have two people in the division,
Yeah.
both with a secured spot. So if you're not at one of these if you're not Big Fish, Short Bus Driver, or I Know Ball, we are now fighting for only two available playoff spots.
Correct.
So understand that. But go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely only that limits it for everybody.
Yeah.
So makes it these games more important this week. But the rest of our division, the Twin Bowers there, yeah, I think he can still get in there. He's got a lot of work to do.
So I think he's kind of like I think we talked about last week that I still stand on the fact that I think he needs to backdoor his way in. I think
Yeah, but I don't think he has enough of the good tiebreakers right now.
that's what I mean by
So
backdoor. Like
so
he
he's
needs
gonna
teams to
need a
not
lot
hit a
more
win
help.
number
Yeah,
to be able to.
and then on top of that, he's got
He's got to
win
get
out.
there.
So obviously that means winning this week against Johnson, which he should do.
Should do, but it's not off to a great start.
It's not guaranteed, but no, when he's sitting here at a -1 on this game,
Yeah.
as we talk, and then he's got to go against myself next week. So, can he do it? Is it possible? Yes, but he's got to get some help.
And a meaningless thought here, but is that your no McCaffrey week?
Yeah, that is the no McCaffrey.
So
week,
okay, there is that.
yeah, so the 49ers will be off next week, so that does help him.
Yeah,
Obviously, the quarterback he's been playing most recently would be off.
Yeah, and
If
it's
we're
going to be
sticking with him.
yeah, and it's going to be subject of part of our conversation when we get into that aspect of that game. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he's got to win out to even have a chance. And I think if he doesn't, he doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, and then as we were talking about, as far as that division goes, whichever one of us does not win that division, probably being in that 4 seed right now,
Yeah.
could even end up with the second best record being in that 4 seed, which makes that who they would play? They'll play that 5 seed. So do you want to be the 5 seed or do you want to be the 6 seed?
Yeah, I mean, it's something to think about. If it's me, I just want to get in.
Get in.
You know,
That's part of it. Just get in.
Hope for
Yeah.
the best at that point. But
All right. So
yeah, I mean, again, you get to that point, you feel like you're kind of grasping at luck, anyway, week to week when you get later in the season, just hoping these guys will stay healthy through an entire game as we get later in the season. Obviously, you see that with Monroe St. Brown. In a big moment like this, he goes out in the first quarter and you're going to leave the game with a 0.
yeah, and I'm sure Dan's hoping that that's just a tweak and nothing major because obviously that's a big piece of his team.
Yeah.
And if that ends up lingering for him more than multiple games, what's that affect? How does that affect his team?
Yeah, and so with that same sort of mindset, that's why I don't try. I don't really care about who I might be playing in 3 weeks if I get into the playoffs because you could be in a different situation in
True.
3 weeks as
True,
well. So everything's just kind of
Gotcha.
situation.
Yeah. So moving on, we'll jump down into the Nerf division real quick. I know Ball getting a little bit of separation there with him winning and Donnie and Bedtime losing. Not enough to lock the division yet, but he could lock that thing up this week.
Yeah, I agree, and it's kind of funny because talk about a missed opportunity there. We know that was a missed opportunity to maybe flip that division upside down. I don't even think it's more so the missed opportunity from Bedtime, but JJ's missing that opportunity to take that game last week.
Yeah, he
It was-
could have took that game. He had a chance to, even if he tied that game playing Tez Johnson. We talked about that off the side before. If he ties that game, how much of a wrench that throws into everything.
Yeah, so and I don't even know if he realizes. So JJ's, if you're seeing this, yeah, if you would have just played Tez Johnson, the tie would have actually benefited you.
Yeah.
More so than hurt him.
Right.
So that being said, here we are.
Yeah.
Bedtime will possibly still have a chance to take that division if Braden just to get upset this week. Not that we would anticipate an upset from Mark's Monsters, although he is off to a decent start. So there's a possibility.
Yeah, so the one thing that I will note there, I know Ball did secure a playoff spot, so he's in. The question is, can Bedtime get in there, and JJ, do they still have a shot?
Yeah. So, and that's going to be kind of the interesting thing. I think from like probably, I think from my standpoint personally, I would want Braden to lose this week and get into a wild card because I beat him heads up.
Right. Yeah, that would benefit you to if that was to happen. So.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot to be decided there this week. Obviously, these last 3 divisional weeks just mean so much now. There's nothing in any division set.
Yeah, and that's still just the wildest stat to me that we're 2 weeks out and we don't have anything secured other than
Not even
you're,
one.
you're in or out.
I think we just won.
And that's not even everybody.
Yeah, so let's move over to your division for the next one here. So Warden gets the win, you take the loss. You fall full game behind
A
them.
full game behind him. Obviously, we know what that means for this week. I'm playing the Warden.
Yeah, so basically what that does mean for you is this is a must-win game as far as the division is concerned.
I think it is complete.
Because you do get that tiebreaker beating him twice if you get this win.
Correct. And he won't be able to flip it back.
Yeah, so he can't even go to the division record at that point.
Yeah.
Once you got the head-to-head 2-0 on him, you got him.
Yeah.
So all you try to do is tie him record-wise. But there is a chance that you could win this week and lose next week, and he can jump back ahead of you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be decided.
Exactly.
Between you two.
So, but on the other side of it too, I think if he beats me this week, I actually think it eliminates me. It doesn't formally eliminate me.
Just because of the tiebreakers you don't have.
But I would get back into that 7 wins. The best I could do is 7 wins at that point. We already talked about the 7-win route. I'm not a guy that can get in on 7 wins.
Not with your tiebreakers.
Not with tiebreakers. I don't have any.
So speaking of that is, at this point, we're pretty much eliminating battle there.
We're eliminating battle until we can re-include him back into a conversation, but that's not happening this week.
No, that was a must-win for him, and he didn't get it.
Yeah. So what do you do? Win some, you lose some, and that's just kind of what I talked about on the group chat this morning. Was at some point that when JJ's writing himself off, I'm like, at some point it happens to everybody. Only one person's going to win this thing at the end of it. So
yeah, there's going to be one
over the next course of the next 4 weeks, we're all going to be saying, "Well, my season's over."
It could have been me. Could have been me. I could have done this. Should have done that.
So we're just talking about the differences between
Yes.
who is it this week and who is it next week. This week could be me.
So there's a quick overview on the divisions, how they're shaking out. As we get back in later in the show here, we'll start doing some of those playoff races again.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. That's why I just can't. This is probably the most exciting week in football. With just the way it's all working out, Thanksgiving, the games being spread out over the course of the whole weekend.
Yeah, if you'd have said back at the very beginning of this, nobody's going to be locked in. No divisions are going to be locked. Only just a couple teams really eliminated. I mean, there's just still a lot to be decided.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens over the next 3 or 4 days. But stick around, guys. We'll be right back, and we'll kind of talk you guys through it. All right, we are back. We are ready to kind of dive into the games this week. We already have some that are kind of obviously ongoing with us recording midday here at Thanksgiving. We're in the 4th quarter, as a matter of fact, of this Dallas Cowboys and Kansas City Chiefs game. We already know some of the players that are having some big games, some of the players that are having some duds, but I like Jason leading this segment, so we're going to kick it over to Jason to start this talk.
Yeah, so we're going to jump right into our first game here. It's Mark's Monsters versus I Know Ball. I know Ball has not had anybody playing yet, kind of why I wanted to jump into this one.
Yeah.
It does have Lamar going here in a little bit. Mark's Monsters got a little bit out of Monty. Got a touchdown. I think it's for 14 for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a pretty good day.
Also, Dowds getting a touchdown for him. That was big.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think what's going to do Mark in here might just be the fact that he kind of rode with Wilson.
Yeah, and so and Braden brought it up in the group chat, and it was funny as the Chiefs just scored here, bringing this game to within 1 score. But the funny thing about that is you and I actually were privately already having that discussion
Earlier
before
today.
Braden kind of pipes up and throws his little 2 cents in, and I actually agree here, and I would really appreciate it if Mark would actually come on and acknowledge this. Nobody to date has ever acknowledged any move we've questioned.
Right.
I'm waiting for somebody to actually do it because we're not talking shit. We're just generally questioning your thought process here. So, Mark,
Yeah, it wasn't because he scored so much last week. Jacobs coming off that injury. Um, wasn't really ruled out last week until right at game time, so it wasn't like a severe injury.
Yeah.
And then come out and said, "Hey, I'm playing all week in practice." I mean, I don't know if you're just expecting like a 50-50 share there. Like, I mean, the guy didn't do that well for it was just one game,
yeah.
and you're talking about Jacobs, who's been good for several years.
Yeah, and it's like it's a question I want to answer just for the sake of. I mean, Mark really has put together a pretty solid team, and I'm wondering if this is just a mistake or a bad decision. Either way, it all happens.
But here's the other thing too that, you know, me and you were talking about Higgins, who's coming off a couple good games, getting a lot of touches. Obviously, he's playing that Colts secondary, but
Yeah, and it's just something I wish we could normalize better in our group chat. Is a response from the owners we're questioning in our videos.
yeah, I mean, there's ways in our group chat they can kind of let us know what's going on. There's ways on each video on YouTube to put stuff in the comments,
Yeah.
ask us questions, reply to some of our questions in those comments.
Yeah, so we will actually direct, I mean, we will direct respond to any kind of questioning you guys have. Obviously, we're asking you to do the same. So, the more information we're sharing back and forth is just the more transparency we have as a league.
Right. But yeah, I mean, so is that one move there with Wilson in there going to be what prevents Mark from upsetting here?
The thing is on a typical week, I would say no, but he's playing one of the top 3 teams in our league.
And you almost got to be perfect.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like,
okay.
ones don't win games against Braden.
Right.
And that's my fear.
But Braden, he has nothing going. We can't really kind of look into his. We do know Lamar's going to be playing later on tonight.
Yeah.
Which Lamar hasn't played well since coming back from his injury at all.
No, and with Higgins being out, again, I touch on this every single week as far as Braden's depth goes. And while he looks good on paper, it's starting to kind of happen now
Yeah.
where he's not playing RJ Harvey because he wants to. He's playing RJ Harvey because he has to.
Well, here's the other thing too is with Higgins being out.
That's my point.
He is playing Egbuka, and you got with Egbuka is he's been dinged up a little bit, and then Baker is in limbo right now. Obviously, Baker is talking about playing, but that could change. I think it's just a pain threshold thing for him.
So I mean, let's think about it. When we're talking about certain players that Braden has to be processing, we're talking about Rashad White. Well, you got Bucky coming back.
Yeah,
you got an injury to Baker Mayfield. There's
Tucker's
questions.
been playing well.
Yes, okay. We got Vidal. You got Hampton, who's
Hampton's
projected to
coming
come
back,
back.
yeah.
I mean, these are the things that we have talked about with I Know Ball for weeks and weeks and weeks. And he's also picked up Mechie. So not only did he pick up A.D. Mitchell, he also picked up Mechie. So he is right in line with our line of thinking as far as what he's doing. But again, I see that he's addressing the depth, but I do think it is a cause for concern.
Well, I think he's starting to worry a little bit because of some of these injuries are starting to catch up to him, especially if you're going and grabbing 2 Jets.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see it when I mean we've talked about it and warned all season about players are going to come back from these injuries. Well, it's happening and it's all happening at once.
Yeah, and not only that, over with Egbuka, you got Godwin back, and isn't there a small chance that Evans comes back because it wasn't like just a collarbone?
Yeah, and so there is a small chance. I think it kind of depends on their season. You know what I mean?
But if you figure Bucky's coming back and taking some of the load, Godwin's going to take a little bit. If Evans comes back and take a little bit, what are you really going to get out of Egbuka?
Well, I mean, we're also ignoring the fact, dude, I've been preaching about Tez Johnson.
Tez Johnson.
They were faced up against each other last week,
Yeah.
and while he didn't play Tez Johnson, dude outscored Ibuka by almost a touchdown.
Right.
So, I mean, this is all happening. We continue to talk about it, and Braden's just squeaking by on wins right now, so it's not really an issue. But he's getting close to that deadline where one win or one loss and you're out. And I think that's what's going to.
Well, I think the other thing that he's got to worry about a little bit too is the Colts' path right now for the next half of the season is getting a little tougher.
Yeah, I said it 3 weeks ago to Drew on just our talks about Colts as Colts fans that there was no easy games for the Colts the rest of the way. And when you're looking at how good Houston's playing, and
Yeah,
their
you got to play
defense is,
Houston
yes,
twice. So
there's nothing easy coming to the
Yes.
Colts way. So there's a lot of calls for concern, and I see that Braden is addressing it and understanding that he isn't on,
Yeah.
sitting on easy street, as he kind of talks or alludes to in the group chat.
Yes. Yeah, I think he's still working every week just to make sure because he does have some question marks there for sure.
Yeah, but I think he still might get enough to get this win here.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Wilson move.
It's just the difference in rosters,
I mean, he's going to have to put up a bad week in order to lose this one.
and that's just it. A bad
I'm not saying
single
an
game.
average. I mean a bad. Week.
Yeah, a single game that person's low score for Braden is a 9 or an 8 or a 7. Mark just put up a 1, so it's kind of
so-
where we're at there.
But yeah, so definitely as we look at that game, we both see Braden excelling.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think Braden's best path to a Super Bowl, not just Super Bowl win, but a Super Bowl is a division winner. I actually think he needs the bye. I think Braden is not. I don't think Braden can get to the Super Bowl playing every round. I know it's only one additional week,
Yeah,
but I think it's important for him.
It does make things tough. I mean, and that goes for anybody though, because anybody can lay an egg at any time.
True, but I mean, I just feel like your roster, for instance, has the depth to kind of make some of those last minute decisions if need be, or kind of dealing with an injury late, kind of one nagging.
Yeah. So there we go. We got a good look at I Know Ball versus Marcus Monstrous. We're going I Know Ball on that one this week.
I think so.
We'll be right back. Check into the next one.
Sounds good. All right, guys, we are back. We're ready to dive into the next couple games here. So what you got for us, Jason?
We're going to talk about Battle Buster versus Beats by Ray. Both of us thinking this is one of them games that's probably not going to matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, these teams are one is officially eliminated, one is tentatively eliminated.
Yeah.
I agree. We shouldn't spend too much time sitting here talking about the guys that aren't going to be, in the playoffs. But I do want to give a little bit of kudos to just Battle Buster here. He's made some roster adjustments here, and judging by the differences from last week to this week, he obviously got himself into a situation of choosing either Jamison Williams or Xavier Worthy. Looks like he benched Worthy's 11 in favor of J-Mo Williams, 28. So great move there.
Right.
That's going to be a win. It does, I think it's going to be a win. It keeps him in the conversation for another week, maybe.
Yeah, but here's the thing with him is Kamara goes down, gets injured. He's got to rely on Tucker, which is now number 3 in Tampa.
True. Tucker is the number 3 in Tampa, and I'm having a little trouble pulling up his numbers at the moment as far as his last game went. I wanted to see what he did last week with everybody back.
Well, Bucky wasn't back last
Bucky
week,
wasn't?
and he got 12 carries, 42 yards.
So I do feel like they are preferring him over Rashad White out of the backfield anymore. Maybe not so much as a pass catcher, but I do feel like there's a little bit of something to kind of grasp on there.
Yeah, it did look like at times they're leaning more towards him over White.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see how with all 3 of them. I figure one of the two between White and Tucker will get some of the carries this week, with Bucky just coming back from a long break.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of backstory on this Tucker, though? I don't know much about him. Has he been in the league a while? Or?
I don't know much about him. I think he's been around for a little while, though.
Okay. I thought so, too. And that's kind of what I was getting at while I'm thinking, like, I feel like it's the same thing with Rashad White. Like, he's kind of been there for a while, and he's just kind of is what he is. And
well, I know they were going to go to Rashad White until Bucky showed up, and then when Bucky came up, he just kind of took it over.
But he had an opportunity this season, and he obviously didn't take control of it. The fact this Tucker's coming in and stealing 3 touchdowns in the game.
Yeah,
so.
but I think that with Rashad White, you're talking about like a finisher or
Nice.
a grinder, kind of one of them, kind of not really the pass catching type. So I think that's kind of what got Tucker in there a little bit more.
So would you just to kind of bring the whole conversation that we've been having for the last 2 games full circle? Would you consider Rashad White even worthy of a roster spot at this point in our fantasy league?
I wouldn't just drop yet until you see what Bucky's going to do, and how they decide to go forward. If they're going to try to spread some things around, keep a two-headed monster for a little while. So you just don't want to throw him to the side yet.
I asked for the sake of I know because I know he's backing into a corner here on needing some options, so I was curious if that was an option. But again, back to these guys, yeah, no, I think Battle's doing a lot of the good moves. You know, Beats by Ray, a team that we've been pretty high on here lately, might just be getting ransacked.
Yeah, he's having a tough one so far today. JMO threw up that big game against him. But Beats, I mean, he's got some players.
Yeah, I
so-
mean, he's only got one player playing today. He scored 16, so I mean, it's not like he's got guys going up there throwing eggs.
Yeah, it's this the guy that he's been getting a lot more from.
Yes,
So-
you're exactly
Yeah,
right.
scored
So he
16.
has been a lot better. He's, I think he's up to the number 3 in rankings as far as the
Yeah, but
number
his team,
2 actually.
Really?
Pickens is number 2 fantasy receiver.
is that because of the game today, or
It might be. I think he was 3 coming in because I thought I looked ahead of
I
time.
think you're right.
But still, though, that is when you're. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, 14 sounds like or 16 sounds like a good number, but for those top 5 receivers and running backs, that's really
For
not-
guys that are averaging in the 20s,
Yeah.
you get that 15, 16 number.
right.
Especially when you're relying on him. But now he's going to have to rely more on Cook.
And Cook has been great too, but I actually think it's that he's going to have to rely on some of these other guys that are a little bit of question mark with the Walker, the Charbonnet situation there, and then Aaron Jones, which has been a kind of a bright spot for him, so it does give him the opportunity to run three running backs.
Yeah, that's one of those offensive teams. Don't know what they're going to be doing.
I'm really down on the Vikings, man. I mean, I actually, and we'll get to it in my game, but just as a teaser, I actually benched Jordan Addison in favor of Yosevas. That's how down I am on the Vikings.
Wow. But yeah, so definitely, I mean, it's one of those games that don't matter. Do we even need to worry about picking it?
Battle.
Yeah, we'll go battle. Move on. We'll go on over to Team Johnson and Twin Bowers.
This is an important game.
This is an important game just for the fact that Twin Bowers loses, he's eliminated.
He loses, he's eliminated. I like the fact that he's going up against Team Johnson for this game because I know Team Johnson will give his best effort
Yeah.
every week.
Oh, he's going to.
Yeah, you know
Until
what
he's
I
done,
mean?
he's
Yeah,
in it.
so I don't feel like Drew's going to backdoor his way into a
Right.
win here. And I feel like he's going to have to earn it. He's getting off to a good start. I said this in the group chat about CeeDee Lamb. I
Getting
felt
up
like
over
this was,
20.
yep, felt like it was a bounce back game. I mean, everything kind of leads to that. 7 drops in his last 3 games. You see all the numbers, George Pickens. You can't be an athlete or ever play any kind of sport and think that he's ignoring that.
Yeah, hopefully just that -1 at the defense isn't the thing that comes back and bites it.
Yeah,
That's one of those ones that that's what puts you out for the season. That's going to be tough. That's going to be a long off season.
it is because I don't feel like I don't feel like that's really decision making.
No, that's just one of those
It's
things.
just
that
dumb
happen.
luck.
Yeah, that's like a kicker getting 3 extra points instead of 3 field goals.
Yep, exactly. Or like I'm dealing with
Yeah.
right here with Butker. You know, I don't know where they're at now, but I mean, yeah, they're scoring a shit ton of points, but it's all extra points for my kicker.
I will tell you something too about Drew's team there. That if you really look, I think Devontae Smith he jumped up to receiver 15.
Yeah, so
That's
Devontae,
kind of a quiet.
a quiet 15 considering, and I'm going to double check this, but he spent a good portion injured, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. He's played in every game.
Oh.
So he has stats in every single game. So
But-
that being
But
said,
still to be receiver 15 and not even considered the number 1 option on that team.
exactly, and it's
And not even the number 2 option, so I think number 2 option is to throw the ball to Saquon.
it's kind of one of those things that's actually kind of makes me feel good because it validates what I'm at home telling Drew, like, you need to be focusing on making sure Devontae Smith is in the lineup.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think now he's with Tet coming on, when he's going, and a guy he relied on early with DK being the odd man out.
Yeah. That's a good problem to have, though. If you're able to bench DK, like, is that not a problem you wish you had?
Well, I would have not had the problem because at some point I would have moved one of them guys.
Yeah, but you
or
see
tried
what
to.
I'm, yeah, but you see what I'm saying,
Yeah.
though. Like, he's got too many problems. The thing, though, that I'm really questioning with Drew this week, but I'm having this conversation on Thursday. This isn't going to get answered until Sunday. I do not like Brock Purdy starting in place of Bo Nix.
Yeah, that one's kind of iffy.
And Brock Purdy,
Purdy coming off a rough game last time.
rough game. He's a good, solid quarterback, but here's the deal, dude. He's playing the Cleveland Browns defense, one of the
Solid.
stingiest defenses in the league, and it's in Cleveland.
Yeah, they're
So
going to get after him.
So you're talking about a Southern California team that plays in nothing but 70 degrees.
Traveling.
East
You know,
Coast.
normally when they say that jet lag, as far as the NFL goes,
Goes
it's the
west
west
to
to east.
yes, because you're losing time.
Yeah, so I see what you're saying there with Nix and Purdy, but you know, hopefully that don't come up and bite him.
And the thing is Knicks is going against the Washington defense. It seems to be an inviting matchup, and dude is 12th in fantasy ranking as far as quarterbacks. Now that's not setting the world on fire, but that is by what we talked about earlier. Top 12, that's a starting position. That's a starting quarterback.
I'd be interested to hear from Drew on just where his frustration level is with Kyron. Just for the fact that, you know, he's always been a guy that scores a lot. He still does a lot. And they get down to the 2 yard line. Who do they go to about that?
Well, I mean, I think
And it's frustrating when it's just that over and over and over again.
I could see it being frustrating for Drew specifically because he actually traded me, Kyron Williams, for Devontae
Exactly.
Adams. But I actually think it has rounded out his roster.
Yeah, I see why he made the move. I mean, because I think you moved Ted over into that.
Into the flex.
Yeah.
And I think what it did though is it made him
But a guy who a year ago, 2 years ago was
top 5.
yeah, and he was getting all those touchdowns.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Yeah,
it's
he's
not
definitely
that he's really done nothing wrong.
No,
It just
he-
seems like they just decided that
It's like they made him a non-top 5 running back.
yeah, it's like they decided Stafford's a better option than Kyron.
Yeah, and maybe that'll be better in the long run because they're keeping him healthier. You never know.
Yeah, so could be.
But yeah, I'm gonna bank on Drew this week. He's had a couple rough weeks.
Yeah, I've kind of got to go with Drew on this one, and just hope that he can pull this one out. I mean, he can't lose at this point.
That's what I mean. His back's against the wall, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
I know Mark's gonna do everything he can.
Yeah, but
he's gonna make.
I just don't think it's gonna be enough this week. Mark has done some good things, but I just don't think it's his level of good is just not to the.
So one thing I'd like to know from Mark though is I know he's out of it, but he's still working at it. But if he started this season, and I don't remember who the receiver one was, but he also picks up Kelsey, and he made the move and got Warren. Warren's had a good year, but kind of this back half of the season, Kelsey's been fabulous at tight end. And Mark being the guy that's just always had Kelsey, it's like, does he wish he would have still made that move right now?
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, and this is something that we've kind of alluded to in different videos, but being in Indianapolis, you probably could have garnered a little bit more for somebody being excited about Tyler Warren than you would have gotten even for Travis Kelce.
Yeah, but just now with just how well Kelsey's playing, it's like, Mark, do you wish you had him back?
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And I know Donnie probably tried to offer him to you, but he probably wanted London.
Yeah, no, she exactly that.
And obviously with Mark, with losing London, I mean, he was already kind of out of it to begin with.
Yeah, I think that's what did it for me.
That was his bright spot.
Yeah, I think that's what did it for me this week. So I got Drew.
Yeah, I got Drew also.
We'll be back in a minute, guys. All right, we are back. We are ready to move on to our next game of the week. It looks like JJ's, Justin Jefferson's Masterclass versus Bedtime. What you got over here, Jason?
Well, right now, Bedtime's got a good start to the week going. Kelsey's done all right. Jacobs, but that's kind of a down game for Jacobs.
I agree. I mean, I feel like the way it's what we just talked about in our last segment with number ones. You're kind of expecting them near 20.
And then Javonte Williams getting that touchdown there kind of helped him out.
I actually think that might be very, very pivotal, especially the fact that it was just a slot touchdown. It was a panic play.
Yeah. Oh, here, take this.
Yeah, and it may end up being a very important one at the end of this game.
But what's interesting in this game is the play of Pacheco.
Yeah, I'm questioning that one myself. I feel like Pacheco had a great start to his career, but for whatever has happened over the past year, Kareem Hunt has just reemerged as their guy. I just don't know if they're just love this guy, but I mean he's producing. But the thing that makes me really question it is he would have seen it last week because we watched the Colts game.
What's crazy is he's got Gainwell on his bench, man. Why is he not playing this dude?
He benched him?
He's on the bench.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me,
He's on
JJ? If we get all the way this far in the season and you finally want to listen to my advice to bench Kenny Gainwell, when I finally give him kudos for being what he is, top 24?
Yeah, and look what happens. He's on the bench.
Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
Gainwell's on the bench.
Gosh, before we even move on to the rest of this game, I'm picking bedtime just for that.
But he did pick up Burrow. He's going to try to play him out here tonight.
I like that. I do agree with that one. I was a little worried that he was going to let his love affair with the Ravens dictate, playing fantasy football with your heart, not your mind. I do feel like it's a little bit of a better option this week. It's hard because you haven't seen him play in so long.
Right.
But gosh, there's just so many weapons there.
Yeah, and then for bedtime, they're having to pick up Trevor Lawrence and run. We've been talking about his quarterback woes here for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I love Donnie, but I want to see him get beat and put out of the playoff just for his unwillingness to be willing to respectfully deal a quarterback.
Yeah, I will say though, I don't mind the guy he went and got. Finally, going out trying to do something. I mean, at least Trevor Lawrence, you get that chance where he's going to rush one in.
I mean, I always thought Trevor Lawrence was a good quarterback. I don't know what's gone on over the last year and a half with him. It's just kind of limited him. I partly feel like it might be a little bit of like the receivers not living up to their end of the deal.
Yeah, when Brian Thomas Jr. is
Can't get open.
not nowhere near what he used to be.
They
He looks
traded
slow.
away Christian Kirk, who he did have a good rapport with, who's done nothing in Houston.
When Travis Hunter goes and gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what are we expecting this guy to do throwing in 2s and 3s all the time?
Yeah. And no wonder ETN's having a better year than he normally does.
Exactly.
So, also with bedtime there, we've talked about Barkley just not being Barkley this year.
I was actually looking I was looking at, just overall rankings for positional rankings, and Saquon and Derrick Henry are both like 11 and 12. So when you think that they're fringe number ones, that's hard to process.
Wow, that's crazy. Then he rounds it out with Zay Flowers and McConkey. Now we've talked about Zay over and over and over again this year.
I don't want to I hate to dog on a guy right before he's about to play because he can just really, it's one thing when I'm talking shit about a guy on Thursday and they don't play till Sunday. There's enough days in between to where it just kind of gets watered down and it's not as bad as a miss. But if I'm going to sit here and say that Zay Flowers is terrible and he comes out here for 3 touchdowns, now I'm going to feel like a complete piece of
Yeah, it
shit.
could happen. You never know. But
Honestly.
here's the thing that I really don't understand with that. If you look at the last 2 to 3 weeks offense with Baltimore and Zay and look at what Arizona's offense, I mean, whether they win the game or not, the numbers the Arizona offense have been putting up. And with Marvin coming back, do you not have to consider trying to get Marvin back out there in that situation?
I mean, it kind of makes you wonder. It's
I
like,
think he's going to get 10, 12 balls thrown in.
well, I mean, we've talked about this again, dude. Like, there's no way we're ever going to sit down and go through this enough to really harp on some of these things we're able to kind of go back into previous videos and talk about.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, this love affair with people's names and what they should be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we have a hard time as a group, and I'm not talking about you, Donnie, specifically. As a group, we have a hard time of understanding when is the right time to say, I need to move on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think Zay, he needed to move on from 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, so I was just looking at it, you're talking about a guy that's over the past few weeks getting 5 targets as a number 1 receiver.
Zay, yeah.
And then, like I said, you got Marvin there on the bench. You know he's going to get 10 balls at least thrown to him.
So in his last 3 games, can you come up with a number on what Marvin's lowest targets are?
Well,
with
the last couple of games for Marvin has been coming off that concussion.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But just the volume of balls going around to everybody on that offense right now. I mean,
well, I mean that's what we talked about with Brissett specifically. Dude is just going to sling it.
Yeah.
It's like they ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, they're just, that's what I was saying, is
So
they're gonna get volume.
yeah, they're actually a good, like, I talk shit, I don't want any fantasy or any Arizona Cardinals. It's just, for my team, it's just too much of a wild card.
Yeah,
But I could see how some of these spot starts are very inviting.
the
I mean,
volume of stuff that they're getting is crazy.
and they just, I mean,
I mean,
it's just,
McBride's getting 12 targets. That Wilson was getting 12 targets. Marvin, before he got hurt, was getting 10 or 12
I
targets.
just throw them 40 to 50 times a
Well,
game.
yeah, 45 completions in one game. Everybody's getting the ball.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers are there. It's like, would you rather have
And that
20
offense,
attempts at something or 5 attempts at
and
something?
that offense, since they've gone to Brissett, have moved the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray's probably played his last down in Arizona.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. It's the way they're playing right now. Yeah. Whether they're winning or losing, they just seem to have a little bit of energy on offense.
A little bit of spark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back over to Justin Jefferson's team, he's got his running back set in there now. He took Gainwell out.
I disagree. Go figure. I disagree with taking Kenneth Gainwell out.
Bijan and Judkins going with them too, which he's glad he made those two moves.
I like that.
And I think whether he says it or not, I'm sure he made those moves for next year.
Probably. I mean, you've seen his kind of approach to where he's at right now. Dude is in the middle of a playoff race and thinks the season's over.
Exactly.
I think he told you where he's looking.
Right. And then some of the other moves that he's made, he's got Olave, who's had a good season, but now that Kamara's out, now they're on. I don't even know what quarterback they're on. So
Yeah, I really don't think I could name their
for
name
as
their
good of a
quarterback.
season as Olave has had,
I think it's the end of the road,
Yeah.
possibly. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking bedtime here.
Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, because I think he needs to eat a little bit of humble pie, but I think it's
Better
bedtime.
not be this week. Then.
I think it's bedtime.
Yeah, so. Let's move on. Let's get to your guys' matchup: Warden versus Motorboaters.
Yeah, I mean, this is like,
So this is one of those games that's going to come down to maybe how this division finally shakes out. If I feel like if the Warden gets this win here, he's got control. I mean, that puts him 2 games up on you.
yeah.
1 game
So
up.
in my mind, this is my Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It is. If I lose, I'm out.
Yeah, because we kind of talked about your team with the tiebreakers. You
I have
had,
none.
but You're banking on a division.
Yeah, because I mean, I can't expect Brady to come back and be in a tiebreaker with him. It's the only freaking tiebreaker I have is Brady's basically outside my division, which is
And
odd.
if you get the win this week, you get the 2-0 head-to-head matchup. Over
I don't. I like my chances a lot better at that point
Yeah,
because I have a
It
decent.
don't wrap up the division for you.
No, but I have a decent
Put you in the
matchup in
driver's
week
seat.
14.
Yeah.
And it does put me in the driver's seat. So, but the crazy thing is, and I've never ever liked to do this. I always try to steer away from Thursday night games.
Well, this Thursday you
This-
able to put a 25 spot up.
It's just a different Thursday with what we talked about today, but we're going to know whether or not I have a shot to win this game tonight.
Yeah, you got 5 guys going today.
I mean, and they're all my power players outside of Herbert. So I mean, I got Chase Brown to go later, and Yosevich, who I talked about. I put in. I'm banking on that concussion for T. Higgins to benefit Yosevich. I made that move earlier today. I got Mark Andrews in my tight end position over Loveland. I have a lot right on today. We're going to know if I'm even going to be able to give him a game.
Well, you still got on Sunday 4 catches, 4 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, well, we know what's going to happen there. 16 points on 4 catches.
And Herbert, who started out on fire, is kind of leveled off here. So
He's petered out, I will say. His
I think at one time we seen him up all the way to 3 this year.
yeah, he got all the way up to 3. It was 2 weeks ago. So what you're talking about does support, because now he's dropped to 8, and it's happened in 2 weeks.
Wow. And then you flip over to the other side. Caleb has been fabulous this year, fantasy wise.
So where would you think he is in like fantasy rankings as far as quarterbacks?
I would call him in that 7 and 9 or 7. Well, you just said he was 8, so it can't be 8. So 7 and 9, somewhere right in there.
Yeah.
That's just a guess, a wild ass guess.
Yeah, it's a great guess because he's actually 6.
Wow.
So he is putting up the numbers, but I actually think it's like a little bit of a delusion, if that makes any sense. They get into these weird situations on such a regular occurrence to where these numbers are hard to,
Well, we talk about him being a better quarterback
in a sense of panic.
when he's panicking. And, well, he's going up against the Eagles defense. It might be all panic all night.
And it very well could be. I think what I'm talking about is more just in terms of general, like what can you expect week in and week out. It's hard to say because I feel like he does need to be in a panic situation to flourish.
Yeah, but what's it say there he's averaging per game over the whole season?
20.
That's a good number. If you're getting 20 out at an average of 20, that's a good number.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, earlier in the season what Patrick Mahomes was doing when Jackson Dart was challenging him. And Jackson Dart at his best was averaging about 23 a game.
Yep.
We're not far from that number with Caleb Williams, and he's been doing it for the entirety of the season.
Well, here's what's crazy about it too is he's upper to what, number 6 we decided.
Yep.
So he's playing well. DJ Moore, where's he ranking at? Where's Odunze ranking at?
They're just
Where's
there.
Loveland ranking at?
Nobody
Where's
knows.
Komet ranking at? Where's Swift ranking at?
That's what I'm
Where's
gonna. I do
Monogah?
want to
mean,
see what Swift is.
It's like some of these guys aren't even ranking anywhere, and he's, finding a way.
Yeah, Swift is 17, so he's at least running back two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're right.
Odunze and who started out with a flurry.
I bet you they don't have anybody that would rank in the number one position. I almost guarantee it.
No. And the closest guy would have probably been Odunze.
Or DJ Moore because he's had a couple big games. But I bet
Here
it's
recently.
Odunze. Yeah, I bet it's Odunze.
But looking at some other things there with Scotty, Achan, we haven't talked about him much lately.
Well, Achan had a down week and a bye, I think. You know what I mean? So he's just kind of fell out of the
He's
conversation.
still having a great year. Overall.
But this is one of those though. Scott needs Achan to be Achan.
Well, what I think that Scott needs is that blow up game from Chase after everything that's gone on with him over the past couple of weeks with the suspension. Does he
Burrow come back.
Does he come out and try to make a statement?
Their division is in the grasp. Oddly enough, they're still in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot on that game tonight for them to want to come out.
And you feel like he's going to come out to try to prove a point.
And I'm hoping Yosefas proves that point.
Especially with Deacons out, right? Yeah. But looking at the rest of that, Brees Hall's had a solid year, probably RB2 kind of year.
Brees Hall was a struggle for me last year because he was another one that I was in the conversation with keeping over Chase Brown.
Genty pops in at number 12 overall.
Yeah, works his way up. He's
So
right there
when
in
you
that-
look at it, with Brees Hall, he's got 3 running backs in that top 15.
Yeah, it's solid for sure.
And Chase taking that 1 week off with the suspension, the extra week off, he's still receiver 5.
Yeah, I mean, we've established that Scott is the second highest scoring team in the league.
We talked about this last week. With everything he had to go through last week, he's ready. His team's good to go after last week.
Yeah.
He even won last week.
So now it's like put up or shut up,
Yeah.
basically. And I mean, I don't mean to say it like that, but I mean, this is Scott's division to take.
Yep.
He's just got to show up and do it this week.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got to go with Scotty on this one, though. I mean, I think matchup wise, just more firepower.
Everything about it says Scott should win this week. But I'm going to tell you right now, I love the way my team started. I think it's going to continue. And I think by the end of the night, Scott's going to be really worried about what's going to happen Sunday because he's realizing he's going to get beat. I'm taking motor brokers.
Yeah, I think you should put a lot of them in.
I get it.
Go Bears.
It's one of those I can't make the right decision.
I will be right back to do that last game.
Be right back.
All right, guys, we're back. Got one more to get through, which is our division. See if somebody can take control of this one. That's Short Bus versus Big Fish. Both teams coming in, riding a bunch of wins. Somebody's going to have to lose this one.
So, you can look at it from a few different perspectives as far as games of the week, because we do have an elimination game with, in my opinion, with bedtime and Jettis. But I actually am going to label this as the game of the week because I think there's actually more on the line with the fact that there's a bye week in play here.
Yeah, because you got obviously the 1 seed or 2 seed will end up with that bye, and if you don't get it, you're down into the 4 seed.
And I just think to me, obviously if you don't make the playoffs, you can't win the championship. But to not have to play in that first round and to get to the second round without having to put your lineup out there is a huge advantage to be able to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because we talk all the time. There's always that chance that your team just puts up that dud week, and if you can get by without playing a week, you definitely take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win without having to wait for the score. So, like I said, I think it's the most important game of the week as far as your guys' seasons go specifically.
Right.
But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
It's definitely a huge game. It's kind of one of those games that we knew all year long that we're going to end up wrapping back into this game, and it's going to matter. Neither one of us, if one of us took a loss, it seemed like the other one did, and if I won, he won. We just could never separate. I think at one time were maybe a game apart, but that's been it.
Yeah, it's never been more than a game. That's kind of similar to me and Scott in a lot of perspective, other than the fact that you guys have the better record.
Right.
But what I really wonder here is how important is it to Dan? Like, what is he doing this week?
Well, Dan's treating it as his Super Bowl. I mean,
You think
this is the one he circled on his calendar.
Do you think he's blocked off all game times this week for so he can just sit and watch them?
Well, I have a feeling he's probably not taking phone calls.
Yeah. I mean, it's
interesting too, because I think he has company in town this week too, with Jody being down there, and he might have just kicked her out.
Probably. I think she could already go back home. So he probably was like, you got to go home. I got a big game this week.
Yeah, you got to go.
So, I alluded to this earlier. I feel like you're just kind of slow jacking Dan here on your lineup. You just gonna sprinkle him
I'm
in.
having a little fun with Dan because we kid Dan all the time on how much he pays attention to those projections and win percentages and things like that. And he talks about it in the chat room. I mean, he lives and dies by that.
Right.
So I thought I'd have a little fun this week and just keep moving guys around in and out of the lineup, changing that number, showing him a little bit, taking some guys out, just to give him something to worry about.
So this is part 2. So this isn't going to happen until Sunday morning. So that gives us a 2-day window to let him know what's actually going to happen.
Oh yeah.
So
and at that time, I'd have to have my lineup in.
I want to encourage you to just throw all your bench guys in.
I have at one point this week,
and just to make him think, oh my God, is he really playing this guy?
Oh yeah, I've had that happen already once this week. Like if you'd have looked yesterday, probably midday, I probably had all my backups in.
Yeah, dude, keep doing that. Just keep messing with him, man.
I've been waiting for him to kind of pipe up in the chats and just see what's going on. But he watches them.
Oh, I guarantee
so
you, dude.
I thought just have a little fun with him.
Yeah. No, that'll be fun. This is going to be a great game, dude. I actually think it's going to go down to the wire. But this is probably going to be the one game this weekend where I'm actually going to take into account what I've already seen happen today and actually let it have an effect on how I think the outcome is going to be this week. And that's hard to do, but I do think that your start is exactly what you needed from the guys you needed it from.
Yeah, I needed a good start, knowing that he's got even more guys going today. And the crazy thing about it is this thing started the first games on Thursday, and it's going to finish on Monday night.
Yeah. And the thing I think that really favors you about this is you've exceeded expectations up your board so far.
Well, yeah, I would say
for the most part, as far as their projections, over projections.
I mean, Gibbs is a little under his average, but the other guys, if you took the 3 into account, I'm ahead right
You're ahead, and you still have your best player to go.
Yeah,
that's my point. Yeah. That's why I think by the end of the night tonight, Dan is going to realize that the Amon-Ra is a terrible thing. That's going to cost him this game.
Yeah, but I do also think that Dan has enough firepower to
beat Mark or me or
even at that, I still got to have a good week.
You do, but I'm saying this is what I talk about, like with Brady. Bad weeks for you guys. Now you are a little bit of an outlier because you do have 2 weeks where you've been below 80.
Yeah.
So it can happen with your group, and we've seen it obviously. But I don't get any kind of inclination that this is a week that you can lay an egg. There's too much ride on it for some of these guys you're playing.
Yeah, like I said, the problem is both of our teams still has a guy that can put up 40, 50.
Right.
and that's enough to sway this either way. Do one of these guys do it this week? You never know.
Yeah. I don't see it happening, dude. I got short bus still in this division, putting Dan into the wild card.
Yeah, I've been riding the short bus the whole time. I'm rolling with it, but looks like maybe Henry might have just got something there though.
Yeah, well,
But I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I still got to play a good one on this one. I think I still got to put a good lineup out. Eventually, when I get to my lineup.
yeah, I mean, this is, if we want to talk numbers, just to kind of bring it all full circle here as we close the show out here, we've always talked about that 120 mark. I cannot wait to get these numbers back from you guys. You, Braden, Scott, like guys, I need these numbers back because it's going to help me kind of put some hard numbers to these things that we talk about on the show. But I've always talked about the 120 number. This is one of those games where I actually see both of you guys on the north side of that.
Yeah, very well could be.
Yeah, so when you do talk about, you need to be able to make sure that you're on your P's and Q's. I get it because you do. This is a game where you've got to be over 120. This isn't playing me or Mark Finch.
Yeah, I can't get by with
110 points ain't gonna win you this game. So
yeah, but definitely gotta play the right guys.
but you played three people and you're a 72, so I think you're in pretty good shape.
I mean, the only good thing at the end of this week is with these two teams is whoever loses is still in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
So
there's
it's
nothing.
not
Yeah,
the end of the season or nothing for either one of us.
yeah, you just got a longer road.
It's just a little bragging rights and trash talk and
Yeah,
at bye.
that bye would be nice.
That bye would be nice.
Guaranteed money after that.
Yeah, because guaranteed money. That's what we're all playing for, right?
That's exactly right. That's the show, guys. I know it's a little bit of a kind of odd deal. Looks like Derrick Henry just ran the ball in here, so Dano's kind of creeping up on you here. What's
Oh,
that
yeah.
score looking like? 41-72 as we
Yeah.
sit here. Again, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. We did a couple lives today to kind of just incorporate something new. We're trying to incorporate new things that are going to help us, launch the show after the football season. So bear with us, guys.
Yeah, we had a great time. Been a long day out in the lab. We got to play a little golf, go live, shoot some videos, have some fun, hang out. Had a good Thanksgiving. Could hang out with this guy all day, so
Appreciate
that's
you,
always
brother.
good.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck to all you rejects.